everyone, welcome to today's Boredom Busters. What I'm going to show you today is how you can make your own lemon tree from seedlings from inside a lemon. Okay, so first I'm going to show you all the things that you need. So obviously I just mentioned we're going to make a little lemon tree. So I have a lemon here. I have cut it up because I've taken the seeds out of this lemon. So you're going to need a whole lemon to cut that in the middle to take out as many of those seeds as you can. So we've got a lemon here. And I have quite a few lemon seedlings in this container. They're not all from the one lemon. That would be great luck if you could get that many seeds from one lemon. What I've done is I've just put them in some water because I wasn't using them until today. So by having them in water like this, it just keeps them fresh. So I've got lemon seeds in there. Other things that you're going to need for this little activity we're doing is a paper towel. So just a normal standard paper towel. A Ziploc bag. You could also use cling film, so just grab something like that. You're going to need a marker because we're going to write on that, and you can also find one that matches your shirt if you're lucky. And then we've got some water. So I've just put some water in a squeezy mayonnaise container just because I like to recycle things. So we've got some water there as well. All right, so they're the things that you need. I'll show you in a bit how you're going to use them. So first of all, I want to talk about those seeds. So as I mentioned, I've got my little container of seeds. So all I've done is I've taken some of these out and I've placed one here on this paper towel just for you to have a quick look at. So the first step of what you want to do, when you take the seeds out, they're actually quite slippery and slimy, and if you hold them, they tend to sort of fall out of your hands because they are very slippery. So what you want to do is use the paper towel to wipe off that slime. Okay, or you could run that under the tap and just remove that slime. The reason why you want to do this is because you need to end up holding the seed in your hand because we're going to peel away some of the layers. We need to do this before we can put the seedling in our paper towel, as I mentioned, and then into our little Ziploc bag. And I'll explain to you why. So I'll just show you how we're going to peel back the layers. What I'll do is I'll show you just an example because it's quite hard for you to probably see on the video, and then what I'm going to do is I'll show you the different steps of what the seedling should look like using some pre-made seeds that I have here. So first I'll just show you how to peel this back. So you're going to need your fingers. So you're going to need to be able to grab the seedling, so using your fine motor skills and your fingers to grip it. And then if you have nails, it's even better. If not, ask someone else for some help. Or what you can do is probably use a utensil or something just to help you peel back part of that layer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my nail and I'm going to just get that pointy end at the top. I hope you can see that pointy end at the top. You want to be able to just get your nail in that and just peel back some of that layer. So I'll just do this. It's quite fiddly, so you might need to take your time with it. But I'm just going to peel it back for you to have a look. So as you can see, I've peeled that back. So maybe if it's against my shirt with a dark background, you can see it. So I've peeled back some of that layer, okay? So what I need to do is I just need to keep peeling that. So I'll just show you once I've peeled that, what the layer underneath looks like. So just give me one moment. As I said, it's quite fiddly. So we'll just do that, okay? So now I've got what looks like a brown layer on the inside, okay? So we went from this white colored slimy part of the seedling, and then as I've peeled it off, we have now what looks more like a brown colored seedling, okay? So we've got one layer off. I actually have to keep going to peel off that brown layer, and I'll show you why. So I'll just peel back that brown layer as well. All right, and I'll show you the difference now. So I showed you the brown layer, and now inside we have this pale kind of white layered part of the seed, and that's the actual seedling on the inside, okay? So we've peeled back the one layer, which was the outer layer. Then we peeled back the brown layer. You might be able to see that there. So we've got the brown layer is to this side, and then the white part is the actual seedling. So if I keep going and I keep peeling all that around, I'm going to get to the white seedling, and the white seedling should look white all the way around. Okay, it's got a bit of a greeny tinge in a sense too. So that's what you want in the end. That's the actual seedling that you're going to put inside your paper towel. So, for example, let's say that I have peeled back all of those layers. Okay, so I haven't done it to this one, but I'm just going to show you exactly what you need to do. So once you've peeled back all the layers, you put it in your paper towel. So just pop it on a paper towel like this. And what you want to do is you want to fold that. The other thing I didn't mention is if you have lots of seedlings, that's even better, because what you want to do is layer them, for example, on the paper towel like this, and then you want to fold in between the layers. Okay. The reason why you want to have more than one seedling is because you don't know whether the seedling you've put in there, if it's just one, you don't know if it will sprout or not. So the purpose of doing this is we want it to actually sprout and start to grow. So by having more seedlings in the one paper towel, you're going to have more chance of having more seedlings that have sprouted. So let's say I've laid out all of my different seedlings in here. So here's my seedling. And what we want to do is we want to fold. So we fold it over, and I put some more seedlings here, and then I keep folding it over. And you want to space them out. So you don't want them all put into one section. You want to put one here, one seedling here. You want to space them out so that they have some room to grow. So you keep folding until it's all been closed up, okay? The next thing you want to do is you need to put lots of water on this. So as I said, I've got my water here, my recycled container. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to put water all over this. So I've got a little plate here, so don't worry if it's falling all over the table, just to show you. So I'm pouring water all over that. Want to get it nice and soaked. So water, water, water all over. As you can see, it's nice and wet. You can actually see the seedling is there. Okay, so you want to make sure that it's nice and wet. You can drain some of that water out because it can get a bit sort of messy when you start to put it in the container, in our Ziploc bag. So what I'm going to do now is get my Ziploc bag, as I mentioned, and I'm going to put my little wet paper towel with my seedling inside the bag. Okay, so it's inside the bag. What I want to do now is remove as much air as I can. So lucky there's not really much air in there, but as you can see, it's nice and thin, not very airy. If you want, you can fold it over just to get some of the air out, but you want to zip that up. So lucky it's a Ziploc bag, it's quite easy to zip that up. Again, make sure you get all the air out and zip it up. So what we want to do now is we want to actually write on this what is inside and today's date. The reason why we want to put the date on it is because we only want the seedling to sit in this container for about 7 to 10 days. You can let it sit longer, but the longer you let it sit, it will just continue to sprout. And by that stage, you actually want to be able to plant it. So what you're going to do is you're going to label that. So you're going to get your marker and you're going to write on there lemon seedling and the date that you've actually put it inside the Ziploc bag. And then what you want to do with this is you want to put it in a dark, dry and warm place. So for example, I prepared mine earlier, which are in here, and I'll show you in a bit what they should look like. And I put them in one of my kitchen cabinets. So it's a nice, dark, warm place. And I've just left them there for about 7 to 10 days. And then after that, you want to take them out. So this is how we've prepared our seedling. Okay, it's ready to be put in a dark, dry, warm place. And then I'll show you now what they should look like once you've actually left them for 7 to 10 days. So I have in here, I actually put some lemon seeds at the top and some mandarin seeds. I just wanted to see what the difference was going to be like. As I said, you can use lemons, but you can use any type of citrus fruits. So for example, mandarins, oranges, any type of citrus fruit that has those seeds inside. So here is my lemon seedlings. So let's have a look if they've sprouted. Some may not, but we just have to look. It's still wet because it's been sitting in that bag for 7 to 10 days. So it's nice and wet still. Okay, so I've got a few seeds in here. So I've got a little one there which hasn't really sprouted. And then I've got a few others in here. So what I'll do is I'll try and show you on the video so you can have a look. Oops. All right, so let's give this a go. All right, so here are my seeds. So I'm not sure if you can see it on the video, but we've got a seed here that has sprouted. We've got a few actually. So I'll show you this one here. Hopefully it won't slip out of my hands. As you can see, hopefully, I'll turn it this way and you can probably see against my shirt. So we've got this part here. So can you see this bit here? So that's actually the seedling that's sprouted. So it's actually grown out. So we've got the seedling here that we planted, but then we've got this section here, which is actually the sprout. So we have one sprout there, which is great. Let's have a look at our mandarin seeds that I planted. And sorry, that I put in the bag. And these actually sat for a bit longer than the lemon ones. So hopefully they have a few more that have sprouted. So obviously you just can get rid of all the different bits and pieces after that. So I just got to unfold all of this. It's kind of hard to find where it opens up. There we go. All right, so we just keep peeling back all the layers and find the next layer. There it is. Okay. And just keep peeling back until you can find where all your seedlings are. Where are my seedlings? All right, here we go. All right, so you can definitely see these ones have sprouted a lot more. So, as I said, these are mandarin seeds. So you can already see this one here, for example, has sprouted quite a bit. You can see that sprout there? That's what we want. We want to see those sprouts coming out of the seed itself because that shows it's actually growing now. All right, so we've got quite a few here. So I've got, as I said, my mandarin seeds and I've got some lemon seeds as well. So, just so you can have another look. Look at that, that's great. You can definitely see the seeds have sprouted. So we've got our mandarin seed here. So to show you this way, see how we can see those sprouts. So what we want to do is we want to now put this in some soil. So just to let you know, there's lots of different ways you can actually plant a seedling like this and in lots of different types of containers. In the next video, I'm going to show you different recycled materials that you can use from your home in order to plant a seedling like this. But for now, I just want to quickly show you how you can plant this seedling into an actual lemon. So we're going to return it back into the lemon. So as I said before, I had here a lemon that I had cut up. Okay, so here's my lemon that I cut up. And what I've also done is I've actually taken some of the inside out. So I've taken some of that lemon out. But obviously from squeezing the lemon itself, a lot of that, the juice and the water has come out. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to actually show you how you can put this into the lemon, and this can act as our little container where the seedling can grow further. So what you want to do with a lemon like this is you want to take out as much of that middle bit as you can. You want it to sit nicely like this. Then what you want to get is some soil. So I'll grab my soil here, and what you want to do is you want to be able to put some soil in the lemon. So hopefully you can see my lemon. I'll lift it up in a second. So I'm going to get some soil here. Okay. Obviously find a nice place because it's going to get a little bit messy. So I'm just putting soil inside the lemon. Very simple. So what you want to do is you want to put some soil. Don't fill it up too much yet. So for example, I've got my soil inside the lemon. Now I'm going to get my seedling, that lovely seedling that sprouted. What we're going to do is we're going to put it inside the soil with the sprouts downwards. Okay, so my seedling, I'm holding it. My sprouts are here and I'm going to put it in the middle. So I'm just going to make a little bit of a hole in the middle just so I can get it in there nicely. So you can just make a little bit of a well. And then you're going to pop the seedling in the middle. So essentially, I've got the seedling in some soil inside the lemon. I've put it facing, the sprouts facing down. Now what I want to do is just fill the top of the lemon with more soil. So here's our seedling. You see the seedling? Now you don't. So we're filling it up because we want the seedling to be inside the soil. So just keep putting enough soil in there just so that you can make sure you've covered up that little seedling. Then put a little bit more. And you want to push it down because you want that soil to cover up the seedling all the way around. So you don't want too much of a gap at all. So let's put my soil over here. So what we've done is we've added the soil, our seedling, some more soil in our lemon cup. And now what I want to do is I want to put water on that. So wipe my hands because I've got water dripping everywhere. So I've got my little water here. So we want to make sure we can put some water on that. So you want to wet that nice and well, so lots of water in here. Okay, that should be enough. Now what you want to do with this is you want to be able to put it somewhere outside, or it can be inside the house actually, but as long as there is some sunlight coming through, but not necessarily the direct sun. So you want to put it in a nice spot that gets lots of light, but not where it's directly the sun is hitting on it, because the sun's going to cause damage to this at this stage. It doesn't need direct sunlight, just lots of nice fresh light. So that's what you want to be able to do with this. So you can pop that on a windowsill or somewhere outside, and you want to let that continue to do its thing. You want to water it from time to time, and then what is going to start to happen, and I unfortunately didn't have one prepared earlier, but I have a little twig here, is over time what's going to happen is it's going to start to grow. So it's going to start to grow, and it's going to start to have a little bit of what looks like a little mini tree. So what you want to do, once it starts to grow its little tree, you want to then take this lemon or whatever container you used, and then you want to be able to put that in a bigger pot of soil. So then all you have to do is you get your big pot, put your soil in there as we did in this mini version, and then you want to put that inside. Because it's a lemon and it's biodegradable and it's something natural, you can actually put the whole lemon inside the soil, and then keep putting the soil all the way around. Once it starts to grow, you don't want to cover up this bit with soil, the green part. You want that to continue to sprout and to grow. So you want to put this closer to the surface of your soil, and then just keep putting lots of soil all the way around, cover the lemon, and then all you're going to see is this nice green part of the tree growing in a big pot of soil. And over time, you just keep watering it, and next thing you know, you have your own lemon tree. Okay, so what I'm going to show you now is how we can use the little lemon tree that we made in our lemon cup here, and different ways that you could have planted that seedling into a different container. So as I said, we can use the lemon itself, and put the seed back in there. I'm not going to actually plant anything, but I'm going to show you different types of materials. So some things that we have around the house, we tend to just throw them out and never use them again. Sometimes it's good to reuse things. Recycling is very important. It's something that's I feel good about doing for our planet and our community. And there are so many uses for different things that we don't really think about until we're kind of, I guess, forced to, or someone shows us what to do with them. So I've got lots of things here right by my side that I'm going to show you today, and how you can use those different items to be able to plant, as I said, like a seedling like this, and be able to reuse things at the same time. So first I wanted to show you items that are also biodegradable. So what that means is, as I said earlier about the lemon and the casing of the lemon, you can actually put that directly into the soil and leave it, and it can actually grow, and then that will just decompose over time. So you can just literally put that into the soil and forget about it. Some other items that you can do that with as well include an egg carton. So with egg cartons, the material that it's made out of is actually biodegradable. So what you can do with egg cartons is you can open it up, you can rip off the top layer. You can also rip off this section here, this flap here, and what you'll be left with is just the part of the eggshell where all the eggs sit. So what's good about this is you already have some natural grooves in there, and what you can do is you can plant seeds individually in all these different little holes. So you can put your soil inside all of these sections, and just like we did with the lemon, you can put a bit of a hole in each one, drop your seedling in there, cover it with more soil, and then you've got a whole tray of different seedlings. If you don't want a whole tray and it's a bit too much, what you could do is you can cut up the actual egg carton itself into smaller sections. So as you can see here, I've cut it up. So now I can use just 4 different seedlings. Okay, so it's a lot more compact. Same thing, I just put my soil inside, put the seedlings, and then put some more soil on top. You can even make a little one, just an individual one as well if you like. So you can use the actual egg cartons. We don't have to throw them out straight away. We can use them for some gardening. Another thing that you can use, which we don't really think about, is a toilet roll. So once you've finished off that roll of toilet paper, you can grab the actual toilet roll and then make a little container like this. So all I've done, which I can show you, is just folded in all the corners of the toilet roll. And if you look at the other side, it's actually all closed up. You can't actually see through it. So we don't have to put any tape or anything else on it. All we need to do is fold it over enough. Then the same sort of thing, we put our soil inside, then we put the seedling, we put more soil, and then we put our water on the top. Because this is paper based and it's something made from natural materials, you can also put this directly in your soil. Okay, so just show you quickly how you can make something like this. It's not very hard. All you really need to do is get your toilet roll, and then you just need to fold over the different sections, turn it around, and we keep folding over. Okay, then we just keep folding all of the different sides in on each other until we can get a nice seal. It's a little bit fiddly again. Lots of the things we're doing in this Boredom Busters videos are quite fiddly because we have to use our hands a lot. But essentially you just want to fold it over until you can get it closed into a nice seal like this. What you could do, if you feel like the toilet roll is too long, is you could cut the toilet roll and then you can get your fingers in there on the other side and try and squeeze it through. Like at the moment my thumb doesn't reach through, so I'd probably cut it as I did with this one here. So you just want to fold it over until all of the sides are nice and closed over. So you can use toilet rolls. Who would have thought toilet rolls could be used in that way? Another thing that I've discovered, which is one of my favorite things other than the lemon itself, is you can use an eggshell. So once you have your eggs for breakfast, you can just keep the eggshell itself. Obviously if it's all crushed up, you don't want to be using a whole crushed up eggshell. But if you use an eggshell like this, the same sort of principle applies. You put your soil, you put your seedling, more soil and water. Again, an eggshell is something that is natural, it's something that's biodegradable, and it's something that can be placed directly in the soil as well. So eggshells are pretty handy. Eggshells themselves as well, if you crush them up, they can actually be used as a form of fertilizer. So eggs have quite a lot of different purposes that you can use for gardening. So eggshells are really good to use. So what I wanted to show you before I move on to the next section is what that essentially looks like in theory. So as we have our picture here, so just looking at those two top pictures for the moment, we've got our eggshell here. So let me just get my little pointer. So here we've got our eggshells as prepared with the soil and the seedling. Here we've got our lemon and our seedling together. Here are those toilet rolls I mentioned. They've got the soil and the seedlings are already growing out and sprouting. And over on this side we obviously have our egg cartons. And you can see that they're filled with soil and again with the seedling that has already started to grow through. So they're our natural type of products we can use in order to create these little containers to be able to plant them in a nice big pot. So what I'm going to show you now is other types of materials which are mostly plastic, so we can recycle them in the sense of using them as containers to grow something. But unfortunately with the plastic we'll have to replant the actual plant itself into a bigger pot. We can't just put the plastic into the pot because it won't break down. But just to give you an idea of different things that are really useful. So this, for example, is a container that had little cherry tomatoes inside. So what this can do is it can act as a little bit of a greenhouse. So at the bottom, if you can see, there are some holes here, and it's got a lid. So I'll pop the lid open. It's got a lid as well. So what's good about this is that you can put your soil in, then you can put your seedlings inside there. You cover it again with soil, with water, and then you can close the lid. And by closing the lid, the moisture and the heat that builds up inside this greenhouse, it comes to the surface. When it hits the top, it falls back down. So it keeps the contents moist pretty much the whole time. So something like this is very good for certain types of things that you want to plant. But the good thing is that the holes help for drainage. So if there's excess water, it will drain out. And the lid is there to help keep that moisture inside and the soil keep moist the whole time. So that's really good to use. What you would have to do, as I said, is you'd have to replant what's inside into a different pot when it's ready to be repotted. And you need to then throw this away, or recycle this, I should say. Okay. So other bits and pieces you can use, just so that you have an idea, are yogurt containers. So again, you can also, with things like this, is drill some holes. Now, you could try and use, for example, a pen and try and pierce some holes through that. You could also use some scissors, for example, but you have to be really careful with the scissors that you don't hurt yourself. And otherwise, which is another thing you need to be very careful of, is something like a Stanley knife to just pierce some holes. You need to put some holes through this because you want the water to drain out. You don't want what you have inside to just keep the water constantly in there. We need to water our plants, but we also need some water to drain because it can rot the roots and it can rot the soil as well. So you want to make sure that your container has some holes, but that you also are watering it as time goes by. So you can use yogurt pots, for example, whether they're small ones like this or big ones like this. But with these sorts of ones, you might want to cut the top around here because it's a bit narrower at the top. So it's going to be a bit harder to take out your plant really nicely. So you might want to cut that sort of top bit. Whereas this one, the shape of it, it's wide at the top already. So you can use yogurt containers, as I said, big or small. Depends on what you're planting or what you have at the time. Another thing you can use is actually a water bottle. And what you want to do with the water bottle is, in fact, you want to cut it in half. So you want to use the base of the bottle, whether it's a big bottle of water or a small one, doesn't matter. Again, you need to pierce some holes, but you would do the same principle. You put your soil, put your seedling in, and you fill it with soil and water. So you can use plastic bottles. These days, with things like Uber Eats and Menulog and all the different food delivery services, we get lots of containers. So plastic containers like this, obviously we can reuse them around the house anyway, but you can also use something like this to make similar, a greenhouse like I showed you with the little tomato container. So again, we can put some holes, and it has a lid, put some holes on the lid, and there's your other greenhouse as well. Other things that we do a lot of these days is we buy takeaway coffees. So I finished this one earlier, so obviously there's nothing left. And what I've done on this, for example, I think it's probably back to front on our video, but I've written the word lemon here. So I can label that this is my little lemon tree, or I could have had my little mandarin tree, for example. And what I can do here is I take the lid off. So we don't really need the lid for anything. If there was coffee in here, that's fine, because coffee is actually a natural product. So coffee is going to provide some fertilization to your plant, but you can wash it out or just rinse it out if you like. And again, because this is paper, it's going to be easier to put some holes in there. And same principle, we put soil, our seedling, soil and water. And then we can use this and we can label what it is so that we know if we have multiple coffee cups, with lemon seeds, orange seeds, mandarin seeds. We know exactly which one's which. So we can use coffee cups as well. The other thing that you would want to do is you want to be able to, as I said, you can label items. So you can write on your coffee cup. You can also easily label your yogurt containers, so no problem. Even the water bottles, you can write on them with just a simple marker. But if you had other bigger items, for example, as we said with the egg carton, so if we had a lot of different seedlings in here and we mixed them up, so maybe I had 4 lemon, 4 mandarin, and what I can do is I can actually get like a ice cream stick and I can label it with lemon or mandarin, and then what I can do is I can pop that inside, so that when I look at my egg carton I can see, okay, these are my lemon ones and I've labeled them all as lemon. Here are my mandarin ones, so I know exactly where they are. So ice cream sticks are also pretty good, and they're also made out of wood, so they're biodegradable. As I said, you can also use other bits and pieces around the house. So like I showed you with when we created the lemon earlier, you can also use recyclable items for watering. So you could use a mayonnaise container or tomato sauce container, or even obviously just a normal cup or a jug that you have at home. But you can also use different types of items around the house for other bits and pieces of your gardening experience. So just to show you those other items that are not biodegradable, so as I said, you'd have to replant them. So we can have a look at that bottom picture there. So we've got our yogurt pots here, and they've been labelled, and you can see that the lemon and everything is growing inside nicely. And then on this side down at the bottom, we have a little greenhouse. So that's using, for example, the little tomato container that I showed you earlier. And then as I showed you before, our natural items at the top. So that's some different types of recycled items that you can use from the home. Instead of just throwing them out, you could probably find another purpose for them, which would be really good, helps the environment, especially if it's an item like a natural item that can just break down in the soil. So have fun gardening, get out there, get some sunshine. Gardening is really good for our overall well-being as well. It's a good opportunity to have lots of different communication and discussions about the environment. And as I said a lot in the first video, we've got fine motor skills that we're working on with all the little fiddly bits and pieces that we need to do. So I hope you enjoyed that video today. And if you have any other ideas for Boredom Busters, please email ideas@northcottinnovation.com.au. Thank you.